I'd like to call our meeting to order. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. The day being Wednesday, November 4th, and for the record, it is 7:02 p.m. I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and the election's come and gone. Congratulations to the winners. Condolences to the people in suspension. I don't think in the history of this part of the world that's ever happened. We've had a tied election, and during the course of my career, my academic career, I taught this stuff, and I taught about tied elections. I read about it, taught it theoretically. I never saw one happen. And as I was telling some of you earlier, I sort of want to see this thing go out to fruition, because I've never seen them draw somebody out of a hat or flip a coin, because the statute says that we're done by a lot. But if the provisional balance that I understand exists now come in, and they can change the whole thing. But anyway, it's quite exciting. It's quite exciting. Sorry you guys are in anguish, but we appreciate what you do for us. We certainly appreciate what you do for us. Okay, let's move along. The first item we have is a consideration of our minutes from Wednesday, September 30, our agenda meeting, and our regular meeting minutes on Tuesday, October 6th. Does the chair hear a motion to be approved as written, or are there corrections?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the minutes be approved. Is any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Accordingly, the minutes are approved. We've had no requests for citizens' comment, so we'll move right on to the agenda, which we have 4 items. Okay, item number 1, of course, is a consideration for a request for an application for a permit for a street event for the Nashville Chamber of Commerce Children's Christmas Parade and Celebration. This went through a public hearing last Wednesday night. There were no comments with the issue, and all the technical issues have been worked out. Does the chair hear a motion we approve the consideration?
So made. Second.
It's been moved and seconded we approve the consideration of the Christmas parade for the children. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Accordingly, it is passed. You'll notify the chamber they can do their stuff. Okay. Item number B is consideration of Brownsville Milling Company zoning request 2015-05. Request to rezone properties identified as Nash County parcels number 3800075855 and number 380007583643 and number 380007583325 from R10 Residential District and B1 General Business District to I1 Industrial District. If you will look over on page, under your blue tab, you'll see the planning board has made recommendations that this be approved. But before we can do that, we have to adopt a consistency statement, which is on the following page somewhere. Hold on, so on the page following the page, either to approve or deny the request for consistency. Consistency meaning, of course, that the rezoning is consistent with the plans, with the town's plan. The motion for consistency is the rezoning request Z 2015-05 being consistent with the Town of Nashville land use plan, because this area is designated for future growth for both commercial and industrial uses and reasonable, and in the public interest as it fits to the character of the area, as the corridor has a variety of zoning classifications, including residential, commercial, and industrial, or a motion to deny that based on its inconsistency, which the plan right now is consistent. Does the chair hear a motion we approve the motion for consistency?
So made.
Second.
That has been moved and seconded that the consistency motion be approved. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Okay, that is done. The next item, the main item continues now. Here's a request from Brownsville Milling Company Z 2015-05 to approve their rezoning request, as I mentioned earlier. And the planning board has recommended to approve that. And the plan, of course, is with all the addendas they've added with the community over there. Does the chair hear a motion we approve this request?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded we approve the request. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Accordingly, it is done.
Mayor,
Yes.
before we continue, if I may, I'd like to, just publicly say that this rezoning that we just did, even though we may have thought it got started off on it without any good communications, it goes to show that if you communicate with your neighbors and your friends and your fellow workers and businesses throughout town, that anything can happen. This is a prime example of showing that industrial as well as residential can coexist in a community as well as as far as you communicate with everybody.
Right.
This particular instance, both the citizens and the business have been here in Nashville as long as I can remember, and I'm quite sure they're going to be here after I'm long gone. And families, children, and stuff will still be here. But as long as you communicate with the people you got to work with, all things are possible.
Okay, excellent. Okay, other comments? If not, we'll move on to item number C, for its consideration of a final plat identified as Nash Crossing subdivision, plat permit 2015-01. You'll notice on the blue tab that the planning board last week recommended us to accept the final plat as submitted, pending a letter of credit for the traffic improvement, vegetation plantings, and a final coat of asphalt, which is to be submitted to the town. The chair here motion we approve this consideration.
So made.
It's been moved and seconded we approve the consideration number C. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Accordingly, it is done. You will notify the petitioners. And item number D is consideration of an ordinance amending the text of the Town of Nashville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 34, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places. This was the issue we went through in a public hearing concerning the use of alcohol on town property for special events. And we left that to our planner to bring back some additional language that we wanted, principle of which was that, of course, as in the original plan, the council is going to get to approve all the events that happens anyway. But the hanging issue was that open containers and bottles could not be permitted. Stuff had to be covered in cans, in cups or something, which that language is now included. With all that said and done, the chair here motion we approve the amendments to the ordinances.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Accordingly, it is done. Okay, Mr. Manager, your report, sir?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to highlight a few points from achievements from our departments.
Good.
Currently, we are completing new tests for each position to comply with changes to FLSA exempt status expected to be in place July 1. Year to date, our fire department has installed 111 smoke detectors through our GET Alarm program and conducted 14 fire prevention programs at schools and daycares.
The reason I hold up my hand is 5 in my house.
We are continuing to build our Spanish collection at the library, including books and DVDs. We've hosted a kids' fall craft session and 2 adult craft sessions, 4 kids' story times, and a local author signing. The police department has been very active in the community over the past month, including attending community meetings, making presentations at Nashville Elementary School on bullying and safety, escorting kindergartners through the town Halloween walk, handling traffic control for the Monster Dash race, and participating in the haunted walking trail at Glover Park. Public Works began loose leaf collections on Monday. Remember to not mix leaves and pine cones together for collection. Several potholes have been filled throughout town during the month of October, and Christmas decorations are being prepared and will go out the week of Thanksgiving. Public Utilities identified and repaired 6 potentially major water leaks during October and removed a damaged hydrant from a vehicular accident at Collins and Church Street. And Parks and Recreation hosted Bark in the Park, a Relay for Life program at Stony Creek Environmental Park on October 17th to good attendance. Football season concluded on October 24th, and Glover Park also hosted a Halloween movie and trick-or-treat on October 31st.
Excellent. Very good. Nice to have an update. Any questions for our manager on his report? Okay, there being none, council comments. Mr. Taylor?
Man, the only comment I've got tonight is, I guess everybody in town today was talking about what you just alluded to at the beginning of the meeting, a tie with our process of trying to elect a new council person. I have not spoken to anyone yet that can recall having a tie, so it's new to everybody. But that tie brings one thing to the forefront, and I've heard both of the candidates say the same thing. Every vote counts.
That's right.
Every vote counts. If one other person would have got off their high horses or off their dust and went out and voted last night, whomever they choose to vote for, we wouldn't be sitting here, and they wouldn't be sitting here with this dilemma. I just told some of my friends out there that the first time I ran, I lost by 2 votes. And then now we're sitting here looking at a tie vote, 166 apiece. We didn't have the turnout that we should have had here in Nashville, but for those that did come out and take the time to come out and exercise their right to vote, we thank all of them. But one vote would have decided for one of these candidates sitting out here. So for anybody that comes up to you and tell you that my vote don't count, or my vote doesn't make a difference, look them straight in the face and just tell them that's a lie. Because we are living proof today that one vote makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. One vote does make a difference. And when you're dealing with a small number of votes, one vote is larger than you could possibly imagine. Absolutely. Mr. Taylor?
Mayor, the only comments I'd make concerning this is it's so good to see some younger people in Nashville decide that they would like to try to be on Nashville Town Council.
Mm-hmm.
And they have interest in what's going on in the town of Nashville. That's something we've been missing for several elections now, is people going out and putting themselves out there to see what they can do. And I'm glad to see them do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ms. Hinton?
I'd just like to say, we're coming up on Veterans Day. When I think about veterans, I think about people who are willing to serve our country. And one of the things they protect is our right to vote. It should be sacred to us. And I think we figured out last night that about 10% of registered voters actually showed up to vote. And it was an off-year election, but it was an election, a local election. And all politics is local because it affects you personally. There are a lot of things you can't control at the state level and federal level. But at the local level, you need to vote. 10% just doesn't get it. Think about the veterans. Think about Veterans Day. They protect our rights, our sacred right to vote.
Yeah. Thank you. And local government's where it is, because, you know, that's the closest government to us. We hear about the one in Washington, hear about the one in Raleigh, but the one here in Nashville is the one that affects us the most, because if you need your garbage picked up, you don't call your congressman. So, you know, it's right here. The local government is what's happening. Anyway, we thank you for your efforts, and I'm happy to see young people getting in this thing, because all of us one-time young people are kind of getting tired.
I appreciate y'all calling me
I use that term very selectively. Okay, we have a closed session to discuss a personnel issue, which will probably take a few minutes. If you'd like to stay, and we'll be out. I hope maybe 10 minutes. If you'd like to stay, if not, we'll still make a report when we come out. Do the chair hear a motion? We go into closed session.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We go into closed session. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Accordingly, we're in closed session. Okay, let's meet over in the small room in about 3 minutes, and we'll go right with it. Chair hear a motion. We go back into regular session.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we come out of closed session and go back into regular session. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Accordingly, we're back in regular session. According to what we're supposed to do when we come out of closed session is announce what decisions we made, or no decision. And we made no decision. We discussed some technical issues in the state and the town employment manual, which is going to require some more research before we get the literature correct. But that's yet to be done. Okay, all that having been said and done, anyone else have anything else to say? If not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Being no further business, I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Accordingly, we're adjourned.